and welcome to our YouTube channel. As you can see, I am very alone today. Titus wasn't feeling the best, so we decided that we are going to just do a testimony today. And I always love listening to people's testimonies because it's super encouraging to me, and I just love learning from them and seeing how God's used them. So I thought it'd be very fitting today if I shared my testimony from how I became a Christian. I'll start with when I was younger. I was born into an Amish home, like many of you already know. And at the age of 7, my father decided to leave the culture and start a new life for us. We immediately started going to a church. That was a very conservative church, but they still taught the gospel nonetheless. And I started learning about all the Bible stories in the Bible and all the different things that Jesus would do, and all about Jesus and everything. And I knew the gospel story. I knew Jesus died on the cross for me. I knew that he died for everybody else. But I was very quick to point fingers at everyone else and tell them, or not tell them like to their face, but think, oh, they need Jesus. Oh, well, they need Jesus in their life. Like they're living a pretty rough life. But I never personalized that for myself. I would always think that's the other person. They need that, not me. And I didn't start realizing that my need for Jesus was just as great as everybody else's. I was a sinner, like everybody else, and I did wrong things, and I was displeasing to God. I knew everything in my head. I understood that Jesus came and died for our sins, and that he rose again the third day, and he went back to heaven. I knew all of the stories. I could tell you from forwards, backwards, forwards. And I knew that all of those things were true. I believed them in my head, but I never personalized it for myself. I never personalized that for myself, and I never took that Jesus died for me. Not until about 10 years old did I start to realize that I needed to make this personal, and I needed to make the decision for myself. And when that realization set in, it was very, very hard to go to church because I would just sit under so much conviction. I knew what I had to do. I knew exactly how to do it, but I always just refused because I was a very stubborn sinner. There were even several times where my father prompted me to do it after one of the sermons that were very focused on salvation and how you need Jesus. And I told him no, I did not want to. With all of that happening, I was very, very bothered all the time. I was terrified of dying. I was scared of anything that would cause my death, because I knew that if I died without Jesus, I would go to hell, and that was not what I wanted. I knew I wanted to be in heaven, but I was still very stubborn. Not sure why I was so stubborn, but I was. I remember one Sunday specifically, I asked my parents if I could sit up front with my friends, because that was a really exciting thing for me, because I always sat with my family. And my parents were like, oh, absolutely, you can sit up front. And that was the Sunday that the message spoke to me the deepest, and I knew exactly what I had to do after service, and I was done holding back. I was done being stubborn about it, and I knew that I needed to have Jesus in my life. And so after the service, I nearly ran forward to the altar there at the front, and I committed my whole life to God, and I asked Jesus to come reign over my life and to be a part of it in everything that I did. And I've never regretted that decision. I've never looked back and wondered I have looked back and wondered what my life would have looked like if I hadn't, but I ever regretted that decision. It has been one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life. And if you haven't made that decision for yourself, I would highly encourage you to do so. Not only do you go to heaven if you do that, but you have such a glorious life here on earth, and it is just amazing. I know that throughout the years since I've made that decision, Jesus has never left my side. He has never once left me to just be. When I'm in trouble, I can go to him and ask him to help me, and when I have an important decision to make, Jesus is always there taking care of me, and he always has my best interest in mind. It really is quite the wonderful life, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. It's amazing. I got saved all those years ago, but I am still always learning. And one of the things that I am learning right now is that I'm not in control and God is. And that is a wonderful thing. Even though sometimes we think that this should go one way and it doesn't go our way, and then we become frustrated and upset, but we forget that God is in control and He has our best interest in mind, and that no matter what, God knows the future, and we don't have to be afraid of that because God knows all the little details and He will work it out for our best interest. So we don't have to worry about anything in our lives because God's got it and He's in control and He knows the future. And that's super exciting to me because it puts my mind at rest because I can just give it to God and He will always take care of me. And with all of that said and with that in mind, comment down below something that God's been teaching you and something that you've been learning recently. I love to read those. It's so interesting to me. And also, if you guys do have any questions about becoming Christian and having Jesus in your life, please don't hesitate to DM us over on Instagram. We would love to talk to you about it. It's one of the most exciting things that's ever happened in my life, and I love to tell other people about that. So hopefully that's the end of my testimony. Hopefully that was an encouragement and a blessing to you. I know it's a little bit different than what we usually do, but I hope that was helpful. And hopefully next time when we do a video, Titus will be beside me and he'll be in the video and feeling lots better. But thank you for watching and come back next time. See ya.